somebody who actually did a little prep for the show. And so,
yeah, I mean that in itself, he's already order of magnitude better than Tom. Yeah.
Well, I won't warranty that, but I will say I probably put the fan and fanatic for Army football.
All right. Oh yeah, yeah. And George and I got to. I love hanging out with someone who really watches the game closely and brings in some of the technical aspects. So,
are you saying I don't?
Well, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, George and I got to watch the UMass game together, and that was a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of watching that game, last Saturday was my birthday, and I got a present of 2 tickets to the Alabama game. I was going down there, listening to the game on the ESPN app here from the station, and I was going, I won't have to listen to this thing that long before I can just cut it off. But guess what, guys? I had that cell phone up to my ear until almost kickoff time of the Alabama game because it was a 33-17 victory, but I don't know. It was
okay. I think we just need to pause for a second. Did everybody get that right? That Crawdad chose to go to a Bama game and forego watching the Army game. Priorities, gentlemen. Priorities.
It's called the magic of YouTube library. But, guys, we all thought that was going to be, we were 35-point favorites, but it didn't come out that way. It was
I thought it was going to be sort of Bucknell Part 2 kind of thing, and that did not take place.
It was, I don't know, George, what do you think? We just, as Maxwell Smart would say on Get Smart, we missed it by that much. We just had a few passes. A few things just didn't go our way. Would you concur with that?
I think you and I saw the same game. I think we all agree with Coach Mumpkin when he said after the game, frankly, it felt like we played hard, but not real clean and not real well.
Yeah, I think that, yes, spot on. We had multiple junctures to really take control of the game and really make a statement, and it just seemed like we always fell just short of that. That, offensively, I think we sort of all agree Christian Anderson, not one of his better games, just seemed to be off. He is, again, we went into that game leading the country in passing efficiency, and we didn't see that kind of efficient kind of passing game. And conversely, on defense, we seemed to corral them and got them, and then give up a big play. Allow them to get a first down. It just never could really seize control of the game.
Well, I think I counted 3 times where UMass was 3rd and 16, and they got a first down. Now, come on, guys, you can't let that happen. But one other thing I thought was interesting, on YouTube TV, you can record the game, and it'll give you the highlights, the big plays. I don't know who selects them, but there were 36 plays. And if you just watch those plays, you would have said, wow, Army really played a good game. There just weren't enough of those 36 plays that were in the red zone, right?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head on both sides of the ball. We weren't really crisp. And then on all facets, we have a very reliable punter who muffed a snap.
Yeah.
The only reason he muffed that snap, to be honest, was because one of our 5 penalties for 50 yards, which in itself is not extraordinary, but penalties can be deceptive in the effect they have in the game. In this case, we had an illegal block on 2nd down, which forced us to punt, thus the muff snap. And additionally, later in the 3rd quarter, we had another illegal block that pushed us back out of the red zone and took away either 3 or potentially 7 points. So, but I would say though, it's if you're going to have a down game, do a down game against a 1-9 team.
Yeah,
yeah. You should be able to defeat.
There was margin there, and the other thing that was big surprise to me was, again, if you had told me, sort of like in hindsight, if I'd looked at the stat sheet and said, man, we came out +3 on the turnover margin, and we only won by effectively 2 touchdowns. You got to be kidding me. I mean, that would be an equation toward the 50s and 60s on our point total.
Well, as Pat Dye would say, hindsight is 50-50. And hindsight was 50-50 in that. You've never heard my imitations before, have you, George? How about let's do a little...
You know what was behind that comment right there? That means he's not used to people chuckling at his imitations. Most of us just roll our eyes.
I guess Keith Jackson would say, whoa, Nelly, I got a real barn burner tonight. But speaking of the good stuff of that game, there were some stellar performances. I go, first of all, to Andre Carter, who set the single-season record for sacks. And
Josh McNary finally. Yeah, I think back to that season when Josh McNary set that record. I mean, that was just otherworldish kind of thing. And the fact that Andre Carter has surpassed that. And he also leads the nation in not only total sacks, but sacks per game.
And he's got 2 more games to go.
Yeah.
George, tell me who you thought had a good performance in that game that was very noteworthy.
Well, clearly you can go to Robinson, 137 yards and only 9 carries.
87 on 1.
87 on 1. But even if you pull that 87 out of his total, that leaves him 8 carries for 50 yards, which is still a fantastic yard per carry average. So that'd be my one. If you want a second, or we can turn it over to you for the second.
Steve, who would be your second?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to look at the other side of the ball. Without looking at your notes, who led the Army team in tackles?
Eric Smith.
No.
Well,
Leo Lowen.
Who?
Yes, I think he got it.
Right?
Yeah, and he had 10 tackles. 4 of them were solo, and also a tackle for loss. And right behind him, the gentleman you singled out, Eric Smith, he had 8 tackles, and he had 2 tackles for losses. So yeah, I mean, defensive. There were some bright spots, especially as we look at beyond the 2021 campaign. We've got other players stepping up defensively.
Well, the one thing I liked about that game, and it was blatantly obvious when I watched the recording of it, the first half and almost the first 3 quarters, we did not play Army football. And then they brought this hoss, this stud, this gunslinger into the game named Jacoby Buchanan. And, you see him in interviews, he's smiling, he looks like a jovial guy. But he came out there looking like he wanted to kick ass and take names in that 4th quarter, and guess what?
That's what he did.
He did.
And still, the distinctive on his career at Army, he is yet to be caught for a loss. He, at a minimum, gets back the line of scrimmage, but most of the time, vast majority of the time, he gets positive yardage, which is just remarkable given the number of carries he's had.
That's a good point. 89 carries and not a single loss, and he's been called on 4th down 12 times.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I didn't give a second. I assumed that one of you would also have your player of the game be Jacoby Buchanan, because he did exactly what you said. He came in the 4th quarter, ran off a 26-yard run, then on 3rd and short and 4th and short, instead of diving straight in the line for his usual pickup of 2 to pick up the first down, broke through the line and picked up 8 yards.
Yeah.
The young man really took charge of that 4th quarter.
I thought it was interesting. The announcers were talking about Buchanan, and they said, do you think anybody really wants to try to tackle him?
Yeah, it's that whole F equals MA kind of thing. When you got that much M, and he can accelerate pretty quickly, do you really want to get in the way of 260 pounds moving with that kind of acceleration? Yeah, that's...
Well, even if you want to, how do you do it? If you watch his play on 4th down, when the defensive line comes in really low and tries a submarine, he's got the ability to go high and jump over
that is true.
The pile.
Yes.
Or he can bring that 260-pound wrecking ball, as you say, right in low and pick it up. He's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, he is.
Well, one other thing I'd like to mention, you don't often mention coaches, but I think Coach Saturnio, our special teams coach, we had 2 two-point conversions, and you're sitting there going, what the heck is up with that? Well, I think after the game we heard Coach Monken say, that's in our game plan. If they are not lined up properly, we're going to do a two-point conversion.
That really surprised me. Especially, with the games that we've got remaining, even if that is their approach, why would you pull the trigger on that? Because now the element of surprise or that potential kind of thing doesn't exist there for Liberty, and maybe even more importantly against Navy here in just a few weeks.
Well, let's talk about some other stuff. Some of the bad things that happened in the game is the injury to Julian McDuffie. I don't know if you folks out there happened to see that, but it was really nasty. It looked like he broke his ankle. It was a similar injury to what the Alabama fans saw with Tyrone Prothro, what the Mississippi State fans saw with Nick Fitzgerald, and what happened to Dak Prescott a couple of years ago. And the good thing is, with the exception of Mr. Prothro, all those other players recovered and they played football. And for Julian, we just hope he can recover and have a career in the Army.
Yeah, and especially, it's so easy as passionate fans to see that happening, and your focus, or my focus was, okay, we're going to lose him on the team. But when you see an ambulance come out of on the field, it's not just about can he compete again in football, or is he going to be back for Navy or things like that. These are potential career jeopardizing things. Is this going to impact his future career as an officer in the United States Army? And so all the comments were positive. But again, Monken trying to get injury information about, him, it's like stealing gold out of, Fort Knox kind of thing. It's just not going to happen. But we definitely pray for his best, that full recovery, and that come May of next year, he's off to greater things in the United States Army.
And folks, with that, Mike, we're going to have to get out of here for our first break. We have room for you tonight. If you want to call the show, 256-576-4977. Grab yourself a handful of change, run down to the payphone, and get them nickels and quarters in. 256-576-4977.
And all the 18 years younger are going, what's a payphone?
Or pick up your cell phone. Put us in favorites. Do whatever you need to do. We'd love to hear from you tonight. This is Crawdad. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Go Army. Back soon.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50s-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Valley Equipment Rental. Pretty self-explanatory name, no? Tom Abraham here. And look, Valley Equipment Rental is all over the Tennessee Valley. And they rent equipment. All kinds of equipment. And not just to the contractors out there, but to you, the general public, as well. Need a skid steer or an excavator? Well, they've got over 40 units to make sure they've got one for you. From huge boom lifts to miscellaneous hand tools, it's at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Parkway. And soon, they'll have a second location to handle even more equipment. More on that to come. Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500. neighborhood.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
No other radio station in Alabama has 2 voters for the Heisman Trophy.
Winner of the Heisman Memorial Trophy is...
Listen to Steve Moulton and Scott Tyson. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Joined tonight by Colonel George Bond, and Steve Cripey, the human Ouija board. And here in a little bit, about 15 minutes from now, we're going to have blogger extraordinaire Conrad Crane. But before we go on any further, I want to give a big shout out to the reason we are here. You know, the lights are on, the power bill has been paid, and that's because of our great sponsors such as Brian Hamaker of North Alabama Mortgage. Reach them at northalabamamortgage.com. To some people, the mortgage process is confusing, and it's like a pig looking at a wristwatch, but they'll take care of you down there, and they'll make sure everything's squared away. Nick's Restaurante, great place to go. I'll probably be down there Friday night seeing the founder, Nick, Tom Chapman, the chef, and all the friendly staff. Higher echelon, our own Joe Ross. And right here for Facebook Live, Bubby's Diner. There's my little mug I got from them. But, George, you made one point, and thanks to all our sponsors.
Appreciate you hooking us all up with a mug. Yeah, that's me. Good to see your team player there, Crawdad.
Hey, I'm going to leave it here. You can take it and bring it back next time. But, you know, George made a good point, and Tom Economy always says this, but the other team has a vote. And UMass came in, and they did not play like the number 130 out of number 130 team in the country. Wouldn't you agree with that, George?
Absolutely. No, you're right. The opponent always has a vote. I was actually fairly impressed with UMass. I don't think any of the three of us are going to sit here and try to tell the audience that UMass is a good team. They are certainly a struggling FBS team. As I believe you said last week, they would be struggling as an FCS team. But on Saturday, they showed up. Particularly impressed their run game, 199 yards, averaging 5.1 yards a carry. They rattled off 22, 35, and 43-yard runs. And that running back, Ellis Mayweather, he ran 17 carries for 110 yards.
6.5 yard rush average, yeah.
Against a team that doesn't allow that.
Yeah.
And, when you look at this running back, Mayweather, he almost reminds me of an Army player. He was a two-star athlete out of Garden City, Kansas. His only offer was UMass. So it sounds pretty familiar to, you look at Army players and rivals. The difference is the Army player might also have an offer from Navy and Air Force. But
yeah, and he went into the game, I think, about 840 yards on the season. So he's at about 950. I mean, closing in on a 1,000-yard season. Yeah, not too shabby. But yeah, I read a couple articles from journalists who follow UMass and said they played their best game of the season. And so I think a couple things. The coaching change. They've got an interim coach, and everybody trying to prove themselves. I think the coaching staff got them up for this game and said, "Hey, we can. This can be what we hang our hat on going forward. If we can take a very competent Army team, if we can take them down." And had them coached up, and so it was a good game. Again, disappointing from a Army standpoint, but at the same time, it wasn't too many years ago that we would not be talking about, well, we should have beat them worse than that kind of thing. We were just, if we got an occasional win, hey, that's outstanding. So I think it's a testimony to the expectations now that Army teams have and Army fans. But yeah, kudos to the Minutemen. They came ready to play.
And at the end of the game, when our team stood there and sung the alma mater, they stood there and they were very respectful. And the coach had a lot of great things to say about his experience at West Point.
Oh, yeah. And kudos. This is sort of an old school kind of thing. You still see it in golf quite a bit. When you go up to shake someone's hand, you take off your hat and do that. He did that. Every player, every coach that he shook their hands, he made sure he had his hat off. And that's a subtle kind of thing, but a real show of respect and, class act all the way around.
Well, Steve, the last time I played golf with you, I didn't take my hat off after you.
I know. I've been meaning to talk to you about
ass. But that's neither here nor there. But the one thing you kind of alluded to it, and I do believe this is true, is a few years ago when we played a bad team that played their best game and we played our worst game, it's a loss for us.
Yeah.
But this game and this culture that has developed under Coach Monken is we are going to find a way to win. And we found a way to win. I mean, in the fourth quarter, we buckled up our chin straps and said, we're going to go back to Army football, and we did it. So kudos to Coach Monken and what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
And kudos to the UMass Minutemen. They played their hearts out, and they played a real good game. And we were certainly lucky. 19-17 in the fourth quarter, I think it was. We were lucky to get out of there with a win. But that is over with, and now we get ready to move on to the Liberty Flames. But just a little brief venture into some areas, as they call it, outside the platform in the SEC Nation show. What about the coaching carousel? Do you think Jeff Monken is safe with all these moves that are going on?
Yeah, of the actual vacancies as we know them right now, I don't see anything where I think he would bite on that. Again, looking back to last year, and again, we don't know what ground truth was, but all the indicators were that he threw his name in the hat for the Kansas job, even pulled together a tentative staff and that. But I think that was a Power 5 school that's at the rock bottom, no place to go up. I think it would have been a fan base, a school that would have been open to doing things differently. And so I think that was in a very unique situation. I don't think there's an equivalent of that in I guess there's coming up on 30 vacancies kind of thing. What I'm concerned about is once those vacancies get filled, what are the second and third order effects? What vacancies do those create? And does that open up something? Because I think it's going to be a Vanderbilt or a Duke or something academically oriented, but something that a school that would be open to doing things a little bit different.
And Duke, supposedly David Cutcliffe is going to retire.
Oh,
so what do you think about that, George? Is Monken safe?
Well, sorry for the pregnant pause, but I think it's more out of fear than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I would hope that the real threat is that second order of effect. It's the Dukes or the others that in the end would not be appealing enough for him to leave a pretty good situation in Army with a pretty good payday. 'Cause I don't believe Kansas was going to pay him substantially more than Army.
Yeah, because Les Miles, who vacated that, was getting paid about $2.5 million. Respectable, but all speculation right now is that Monken is getting paid on par with Coach Niumatalolo at Navy, which is in the $2 million kind of thing. So yeah, is $500,000 extra? Yeah, for us it's a big deal. But at that coaching level, is that really worth that kind of thing? So
giving up a house on the other side of the stadium where you can walk to work. Speaking of coaches on the hot seat, I think Coach Niumatalolo is feeling a little heat on his backside because, Navy's been playing better lately, but
still not winning a whole lot.
No, still not winning a whole lot. So I think we're all hopeful that Coach Monken. Now there is one Coach Monken that's probably going to be on the move, and that's his cousin, who's the offensive coordinator for Georgia. I tend to think he may slide right into that vacancy created by Dan Mullen.
Yeah, either that or Coach Ogeron. We were talking about that before. My second team is Texas A&M. Grew up following them, and I have two brothers that are Aggies. And a lot of speculation that they're going to nab Jimbo and lure him away from A&M. Given some of the things that Fisher has said, I will be really surprised. So I hope someone else takes that and would just in those rumors right now.
Well, that Coach O's right. He's going to take him $16.9 million, and he's going to go out there and get him chicken on a stick.
Well, certainly one thing's for certain is that every winter we're going to go through this same conversation.
Which is good.
Oh, yeah.
That means we still have coach.
Yeah. And the thing that I think a lot of schools that are looking at coaches, what is their scheme, what is their, all those kind of things, at the end of the day, especially, as officers, former officers and that, we understand the wild card that leadership plays, and I think Monken, hopefully no one's listening to me, but I think he's going to bring that leadership. He's going to bring that winning culture. He's going to bring that work ethic, and that's what really impacts a program, I believe, more than the X's and O's and the schemes, offensively or defensively. So I think Coach Monken could go any place and be successful. I'm glad he has the stereotype that comes with running an option offense, and I hope that keeps other programs away from any offers.
Well, Steve, now one thing you mentioned about us all being former officers, did you realize we actually brought another tanker into this mix with Colonel George?
Another tanker?
Another tank. Well, Tom's a tanker. I don't know what Tom is, but
I thought he was a infantryman. I'm sad that I don't know that definitively.
Well, then that's just par for the course.
Yes. So we're a combined arms team. That's the bottom line here.
That's it. Well, hey, folks, we're going to get out of here. In a few minutes, we'll have Conrad Crane calling in, blogger extraordinaire, to talk about his disdain for the black uniforms. And you can call us up later on in the show, 256-576-4977 on your handy-dandy handheld computer with a cell phone application. Give us a call back in a little bit.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Eating the last slice of pumpkin pie? Power move. Buying your own gifts? Power move. Switching to crazy fast gig speed internet from WOW? Power move. Get the speed you need with gig speed internet for just $64.99 a month. Plus get a year of HBO Max included and $300 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today.
Wow.
After the promotional period, HBO Max will auto-renew at then prevailing rate. Limited to new customers with auto-pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Orange is the color of power, of progress, the color of Kubota and Huntsville Tractor and Equipment. Those who need to get things done, trust Kubota's L and M Series tractors, zero-turn mowers, the fun sidekick, from one of the top dealers in the country. More than 50 years of family service, every part in the book, and folks who know what to do with them. You'll be seeing orange with Huntsville Tractor and Equipment.
Come on, let's go to work.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Looking for a great deal? Well, I've got one for you. Tom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. And at Valley Equipment, if you rent after 3 on a Friday or on a Saturday morning, you're not due back until Monday morning. So basically, you're getting the entire weekend for the price of one day. And if you're in the service or are a vet, they'll knock another 10% off. Valley Equipment is locally owned and involved in our community through charities and even supporting local teams. And soon, they'll have a second location to handle even more equipment. Stay tuned for info on where that will be and when it will open.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef, Mom craves authentic Italian food like great grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. While a little chilly, Tuesday actually looks really nice across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, though temperatures only climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s, dropping into the low and mid 30s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. An increase in cloud cover will be likely Wednesday afternoon through Wednesday evening. Temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 50s. Some of us could crack 60 degrees. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
November in Alabama means one thing. The Iron Bowl.
War Eagle, baby. War Eagle, baby.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Brought to you by a whole bunch of folks. Nick's Ristorante, North Alabama Mortgage. You can reach them at northalabamamortgage.com, Bubby's and Higher Echelon, and a whole host of others. And right now we are joined by blogger extraordinaire. Oh, it's not Conrad is not on the line.
Oh.
So Smokey Mike, is somebody on the line? I heard the phone ring. Well, guess what? We are not joined by blogger extraordinaire Conrad Crane. So,
well, hopefully he'll join us here in a little bit.
He'll join us here in a bit, but that's my bad. Sorry for that. We heard the phone ring and we made the basic assumption that that is who that was, and it was not the case. So we can go on and talk a little bit more about let's talk a little bit about the Army season in general. I guess right now, if you guys had to pick your player of the year, who would it be? George?
Man.
I'd have to give it to Andre Carter. I mean, just the statistics of it, 13.5. But I think he's got a lot of upside potential. He could be 20 pounds heavier and probably be just as fast. We get him another year. I think we're going to see more good things out of that young man.
Yeah, I think you're spotted. That would be a safe choice. You know, other side of the ball, you know, Tyrell Robinson. You know, it's not only the offense but special teams. He's probably one of just a handful of guys offensively that you think, okay, if he's got the ball in his hands, something big could happen. And he's electric out there.
Well, I agree with that, and I got to meet Tyrell's dad, Trevor, before the Georgia State game, and I said, hey, your son's going to return a punt for a touchdown before this year's over with.
Almost did last week.
And he almost did last week. In fact, I like Tyrell. I think, he averages almost, 9 yards a carry, and you know, that's even better than Gale Sayers did in his heyday. So Tyrell has done a great job, but I think I would have to make my player of the year would be the position of the year, and that's quarterback, because we've had a lot of injuries, we've had a lot of instability at quarterback. We've had to have people jump in, sometimes down to the third and fourth string, but they've all seemed to get the job done. I think Christian Anderson's play at quarterback when he was leading the nation in pass efficiency, none of us ever would have predicted that. He didn't have his best game against UMass, but my player of the year is the position of the year, and that's quarterback.
Yeah, and it's been neat seeing guys step into those. There's a mix of talent, of strengths and weaknesses. Each brings sort of their own flavor, but they've all been very effective. But even the thing I get excited about is when you look at the pipeline that they've established at quarterback. Not only, I mean, we got a couple plebes on the roster, but then we've got some other guys that are in the wings right now. There are probably 3 guys that we could name right now that are going to be in the mix to start next year. So I don't think we'll miss a step. It's going to be tough to, Jabari Laws and Christian Anderson to send them off, but I think we got guys ready to jump in there.
And I would add a fourth. I would just add the offensive line. I think they're really gelling right now. Since we got Connor Bishop back, we've got the original 5 that started the season are all playing.
Yeah.
So we got some real talent there. Finucane and Law are both sophomores. Both started at least one game as a plebe, which is pretty much unheard of.
Oh, yeah.
Bishop will probably be getting awards as a senior next year. I think he'll probably get a pro look. And then if you look at this last game, we basically rotated in about 7 guys because now we're also seeing Holloway and Kolishek. And I really think the offensive line is really hitting its stride right now.
I think you're spot on. And again, not only just the individual talent, but again, irrespective of the scheme you run, if they don't operate as a unit, if they don't instinctively know what the guy to the left and the right are going to do, then it comes apart really quick. But yeah, as a unit, but also all those individual talents, we're fortunate.
Well, and also this certainly isn't the player of the year, but I'd have to give a vote for the fan of the year. And my fan of the year has to be Bill Murray. I mean, if you happen to see the game or looked at by the way, let me give a quick shout out to Steve Kripke and his work on our Facebook page. We've now crested 3,000 friends on our Facebook page. A lot of the coaches' wives, the parents of the players are on there, but a lot of talk on our Facebook page and a lot of photos of Bill Murray at the game. And for our younger listeners out there, Bill Murray is known for Caddyshack, Stripes,
original Saturday Night Live crew. That's
Ghostbusters, original Saturday Night Live, and he was there in his full comedic self at the game, goofing off. He was hanging out with the cadets in the stands. He had the T-shirt cannon. He was firing that thing away.
I don't know who the woman sideline reporter that was charged with interviewing him. I would never want to interview that guy on live television right there because I mean he wanted to go be interviewed inside the kicker's net. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, I just like the way you looked in this net. Really?
And he also, I saw where he took a cadet. The cadets have their name on the back of their BDU or whatever it's called these days. I called them ACU, I guess. And it was Murray, and he took that, put it on, and he autographed it and gave it back to the cadets. So my fan of the year is Bill Murray. I thought he did a great job at that game. And I was... it's glad to see a person like that who's a Hollywood star, and you have the perception that Hollywood is anti-military. Well, obviously he's not.
And supposedly he lives in that area. He lives on the Hudson River there. So and supposedly he occasionally does that, and doesn't always attract attention. Sort of blends in with the crowd and takes in a game occasionally. But that was good and just great visibility for the academy. One of the things that we talked about, potential topics, bowl. Okay, we got 2 games left. Really, before Navy, all the bowl invites will go out. So it really, the Liberty playing Liberty, and how the outcome of that game will likely decide if we play a bowl game immediately after finals, or maybe later on in the month of December, which I would definitely love to see. And a lot of discussion, a lot of prognosticators are mentioning the Armed Forces Bowl. Would love to, get out there, and that gets us toward the end of the month. So we'll see. But some of the ones that are a little bit closer, I'm hoping we can avoid those.
Yes, indeed. And for those who didn't go to West Point, finals, term ends are not a good place where you want to be, and you certainly don't want to be playing a football game right after that. Okay, now we have a caller, Dave, on line 1. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed the beginning part of your show, but I was kind of curious if you guys have talked at all about the new addition to Mikey Stadium, the planned addition, and how, if you guys have heard anything about the missed revenue from last season and how it's impacted that new addition.
Well, Dave, we didn't talk about it, but we'd be glad to right now, and I'll give you my 2 cents worth for what it's worth. I hope it doesn't happen. It's going to bust.
What doesn't happen?
The new addition to Mikey Stadium.
It will happen.
Well, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope something makes it not happen.
I'm hoping it does happen. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I think you've hit on it. Revenue. You got to get creative, and to be competitive out there. It's all about the revenue streams. Not all about it. That's a little bit of hyperbole there. But I think it opened up some avenue with some common spaces, special events kind of things, where you could do a class reunion and your class gets a dedicated area with access to food and drink and those kind of things. One of the big pushback is, okay, does it obstruct the view of, Lusk Reservoir, the Hudson River Valley, and all those kind of things? But if you think about it, if you're in the lower stands over on the west side, it's already obstructed. We're talking the upper deck kind of thing. So I think that's a little bit of an overstatement, but I think it would be a great addition. It'll definitely give Mikey Stadium a more prominent look. And I think I think it has sort of a small stadium look right now, and I think that would bump it up a little bit. So Jane? No, I'm
you
ignorant? Yeah.
Counterpoint on that is, and Dave, this is one thing is you have to, they have expanded Bryant-Denny Stadium and many of these other places because there is such a demand for tickets. Now, my issue with it is, one, I do like the view, and number two, just like we saw last week at the UMass game, that stadium wasn't even close to being full. It's only sold out one time, I think, in the last 3 years, and I think if they want to do something and really invest some money, is they need to figure out a way to make the fan experience better, where you can get in and out of that post easily and watch the game and not have to stand in line for an hour and a half and get to your seat at the middle of the second quarter. So that's that. What's your take on this, George?
My take was exactly the same as yours. That if we're only filling the stadium to 2/3, is the bang worth the buck? We're getting. What's the payback?
Yeah. Well, I would say it gets to the other factor you hit, Bill, and that's the game experience. For some people, they don't want to just be, anchored to a seat and those kind of things. They want to be able to mix it up during the game, more of a social experience and like that. And I think that's going to open up to people who might not otherwise come to a game.
Well, Dave, what's your take on it? You've asked. First of all, are you a grad by chance?
Yes, I'm an 09 grad, and so I'm up here at I'm up here in Kansas right now at Leavenworth, and there are a couple things that. So when this expansion talk came out, I got pretty excited about it. We came up there a couple years ago for the reunion, and obviously, the classes are set on that east side stands, and it was, it's honestly, it's not a great fan experience on that side. When you're coming in through the security, just like you said, obviously, it's backed up and it's dated. Maybe that's an opportunity to update that. And I will tell you, it's definitely an opportunity to update that concourse. And when it comes to, the suites and the clubs that comes with what their plan is, okay, that's one thing for revenue. But obviously, just like some of the points that are brought up for when you're bringing classes in, that's a neat, unique experience that you bring to those people. But the thing that sticks out to me the most is the plan is to spread the core, not just from goal line to the 50-yard line behind the visiting team, but from goal line to goal line. And I think that's a unique experience that we can bring to Mikey Stadium. And you're talking about when you're looking at it on TV and you're watching games, it looks halfway empty. But heck, if you can expand that concourse and build it right to where you can expand the core from goal line to goal line, that's a neat thing to see on TV, and that's something that no other stadiums show on TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, great thoughts.
Great thoughts. So let me ask you this: Are you at Command and General Staff College, or what are you doing in Kansas?
No. I'm one of those nerdy ORSA guys. I'm up here. I did Command and General Staff last year, and I'm up here because we just loved it so much. And we got lucky. We got the opportunity to be able to stay up here. So that's what I'm doing up here now.
An ORSA pod.
An ORSA pod. Well, hey, my son just got picked up for Naval Postgrad for ORSA. So, hey, thank you.
Oh, that's outstanding. Great.
Thank you for the call. We really do appreciate that.
Excellent.
And appreciate your service. And Smokey Mike, let's take a break, and we'll come back and talk about the Liberty Flames and the Reverend Falway.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Looking for a great deal? Well, I've got one for you. Tom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. And at Valley Equipment, if you rent after 3 on a Friday or on a Saturday morning, you're not due back until Monday morning. So basically, you're getting the entire weekend for the price of one day. And if you're in the service or are a vet, they'll knock another 10% off. Valley Equipment is locally owned and involved in our community through charities and even supporting local teams. And soon, they'll have a second location to handle even more equipment. Stay tuned for info on where that will be and when it will open.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
Born Henry Louis Aaron on February 5, 1934 in Mobile, baseball icon Hank Aaron first honed his baseball skills while growing up in Alabama. He is best known for breaking Babe Ruth's record of 714 home runs, ultimately hitting 755, a record that stood from 1974 to 2007. During his career, Aaron was a member of the Milwaukee and then Atlanta Braves for 21 seasons and made the National League All-Star team every year from 1955 to 1974. He won 3 Gold Glove Awards for outfield, and his lifetime records for most runs batted in and most extra base hits still stand. Aaron was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1982 with 97.8% of the votes cast. In 2002, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is the final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Glad you guys got that little history lesson on Hank Aaron. And now we're going to talk about the Liberty Flames, the team that has the motto of knowledge of flame. Steve, they are probably about as evenly matched opponent as we've had all year, according to your analysis.
Yeah, I think, and I'll post the statistical comparison here, and it is fairly balanced. But a couple areas where I think some strengths on weaknesses, turnover the margin. They've given up the ball on a fairly consistent level. They don't do well defending on long downs and that. But the big thing is, and a lot of times coaches say this is a sign of an undisciplined team. They give up. They commit a whole lot of penalties. They're averaging 70 yards a game and seven penalties a game. That could be a difference maker in an evenly matched game like this.
And George, I know you've done a good look at the Liberty Flames. What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, I certainly agree on penalties, but I'd also add to that there may be an exploitable weakness here.
Oh, really?
In their number of sacks. They've allowed 45 sacks this season, and the last two losses, which are the last 2 games, admittedly against very good teams, Louisiana and Ole Miss, they've allowed 16 sacks. So I'm certain the coaching staff is taking a look at that film and seeing how they can put Nolan Cockrell and
got the juices
Carter
going in Andre Carter
and Bonza to work, because their quarterback makes 63% completion. He's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, and he's a dual threat quarterback as well. And the thing that adds importance to what you're talking about, again, McDuffie. So a starting cornerback, DB has gone down. We're having to go deeper into the depth chart on that. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get some pressure up front and put that quarterback on his back a few times? So it's not all on the DBs to prevent those passes.
Well, and the other thing is Malik Willis, by the way, I'd be willing to bet you $1 to a donut that Auburn sure wishes they had kept him in the stable, but he's gone, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's got a great arm, and he's the kind of guy that scares the bejesus out of me when Army plays a guy like him. Because,
dual threat.
Sometimes this year, as Johnny Brooks, our blogger, would say, is we let the other quarterback have enough time to recite the Gettysburg Address or floss his teeth. And if we don't put pressure on this guy, he may eat our lunch.
Yeah, leads the team, of course, in passing yards, over 3,200 yards, but he's closing in on 800 yards rushing. And I tell you what, we if he gets that element of his game going, that's not going to be good. So, yeah, got to get that pressure up front, some tackles for loss, get some sacks. That's going to be crucial.
That is correct. He's averaging 4.5 yards a carry with 10 rushing touchdowns. But in the last 2 games, he's also had 5 interceptions. The team has had 3 fumbles. So, as you said, if we can get some pressure on him, that could be a game changer.
And, you know, supposedly these comparisons make no sense. That's why I use them sometimes. But they beat UMass 62-17, and, you know, we beat them 33-17. But I maintain that with a couple of passes that our quarterback normally would have completed and a few penalties, we would have been up in the 50-60 point range too. But
yeah, and also as we talked about, the UMass team that we faced was not the team that Liberty faced. It was a much better team, much better all the way around. So yeah, it at first glance, but yeah, I think as you dig in deeper into that, that's not the cause for concern that it would otherwise be.
Well, UMass did show that you can run the ball on Liberty, because the Meriwether we talked about, who hung 110 yards in the Army team last Saturday, he put 149 in Liberty.
Okay, got to get out of here real quick. Steve, give me a prediction.
Army's going to come away, and it's going to be a Cole Talley field goal. There will be difference, 30-27.
35-31 Army.
And I'm